There we go. Hello, everyone. This is 2Box Live. Again, follow us, 2Box Media, wherever you are, that we get notifications when we go live. You can check out all the video content we have because we keep you up to date on a lot of things, a plethora of things. And you know where else you can go for that is Flipboard. And joining us right now, we have the technology editor for Flipboard. It's our buddy Ken Yeung. Ken, hello. How you doing?
Hey, Greg. Happy holidays. How are you?
I am doing good. You know, it's the end of the year, which just seems strange. That 2020 is almost at the end. I feel hesitant to even say that because we still have a couple of days for something to happen. But there is a lot happening with tech, and in particular over this last week, even coming up to the very end, there's some busy things going on, and that's what we're going to do here is just kind of go over a few different topics. So starting off, let's talk about Tesla. And Tesla this week, to bring everybody up to date, there's a couple of things that have happened. One of the biggest ones is this firmware update that they issued over Christmas for a couple of reasons. We'll talk about the full self-driving mode here in a minute, but the big one that I think everybody is discussing right now is the Boombox Mode, something that Elon Musk has promised for a while, to where now Tesla owners, if you have this outside speaker, you can customize the sounds of your vehicle, the sounds of your horn. It comes standard with a few, and then you can also upload your own to completely annoy everybody around you. I don't know if this is going to be good for Tesla owners in the long run, if this is going to help out with that, but I wanted to get your thoughts about this. What do you think about Boombox Mode?
So I want to let's think about this for a second. You know, it's the holiday season. Every year, I think what something that's been synonymous for the holidays or around this time is the car shopping that people do. You see a lot of these commercials on TV, that, hey, this is your winter holiday sale, get to your nearest blah 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 dealership and go ahead and buy a new car for you or your loved one. I always find it very fascinating when I see these commercials where people are like, hey, buy a car for you and your loved one, so you get two cars, and you're like, wait, where are you getting all this money from? But what's interesting
Right?
now is that you can do the same thing, but without actually having to buy a car. And this is something that I find very fascinating about Tesla, and people have said this many times before, is because what Tesla offers is that you don't actually have to buy a new car necessarily every year. You can just get all these updates over the air, and that's the power of technology. And Tesla has done amazingly well in terms of offering new features, and it's treating it almost like you get like an app on your Facebook app or whatever app you have on your smartphone. Tesla can experiment with different features and whatnot, and they can have fun with these type of features as well, based off of what customers want. And Elon's been no stranger. It hasn't been afraid of saying, oh sure, why not, let's test this out and see how it goes, just for the heck of it. And Boombox just seems to be one of those things that Tesla owners may want to have some fun with. I mean, this is not supposed to be some stodgy vehicle. This should be a vehicle that you should be having fun with, in a manner of speaking. So, I mean, who knows what? I mean, I don't think whether or not Boombox will wind up being a long-lasting feature. But I mean, there's all these other, you can have different sounding horns. You can have different sounding. You maybe be able to change the lights or whatever, make your vehicle more festive. I think the point is that in the time when we are largely quarantined and supposed to be staying at home or social distancing, having this type of fun vehicle, to some people it might be fun, some people might be more annoying. I'm not taking any particular stance on that. But as you're driving by people, maybe
Right.
you want to wish them a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Maybe this could be a fun way to do that, and maybe it's that small little things that you can do with the Tesla that will encourage people to go out and say, hey, let me give it a test drive, later on, once we're vaccinated, or this pandemic is over, and maybe their next vehicle could be a Tesla. Who knows?
I mean, you make a couple of really good points in there too. Just talking about how this is, something that can constantly be updated because these firmware updates come out. You don't have to buy a new car. You get some new toys essentially. It's actually, I think, stored in something called the toy box is where these features are, where it's got games and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it is. If I had one, I would be stoked about this, creating my own custom sounds for it. So it's something that's pretty cool what they're able to do with it. So that's the Boombox Mode. If you're around a Tesla, anybody out there, I'm sure we'll all hear this at some point. Because Tesla owners do like to talk about being Tesla owners, and I'm sure we'll hear it. I'm just jealous. So there's that part that came out. There's also the full self-driving mode, which is something that A couple of things with that. One is this is something that Elon Musk has been promising for Teslas for a while. Full self-driving mode is a misnomer. It's not a completely autonomous mode update that would happen. What it would allow the car to do is navigate traffic better on its own. It would be able to go on ramps and off ramps. I mean, still really impressive, but it's not full self-driving mode where you just go to sleep in the back and let the car drive. Nonetheless, that update coming out, it used to be you had to pay $10,000 up front just to maybe have that ability in the future when it rolls out. Now, he's saying this is going to be rolling out to a lot more vehicles, and there's going to be a subscription service. And now, if you buy one, I guess in these last 2 days before 2021, we're on December 30th right now, depending on when you're watching, he said it could be free for 3 months. So he's really pushing this kind of tech, which... I mean, I think that's great that he's getting it out there, that more, this is kind of pushing it to the forefront. I don't know about regulations, and there's still, all the worries that come with this kind of technology. What do you think about this?
I mean, it's the end of the year. I mean, every company, it doesn't matter whether you're a tech company or you're a car manufacturer. It's always about the end of the year sales, right? It's that quota that you have to hit. And Tesla's been doing well in the past past few quarters in terms of exceeding the amount of vehicles that they produce and sell. And this is no different. They want to get that out there. And of course, the full self-driving feature is appealing. Maybe they want that to be the thing that catches people's eyes and forces them to and convinces them to go make a purchase. But you're right. It's like the fact maybe something that's holding people back from going full self-driving is the price tag, and so they're going more into that monthly subscription, which has served other tech companies very well in that regards in terms of helping generate revenue. So this could be a good revenue generating stream for Tesla. Plus, the more people that are testing out the full self-driving, the more data obviously Tesla gets in order for them to improve the technology. But of course, this is a complete shift for Tesla. Well, not really a complete shift for Tesla, but it's an interesting turnaround for Tesla because I think it was like a couple weeks ago, Elon Musk revealed that he had thought about selling the company to Apple back in the day. So when there's production issues with one of the Tesla models. So and now you look at what's happened now, it's like, hey, Tesla's going very well. Would Elon Musk consider selling the company to Apple? I mean, of course, Apple didn't pay any attention to Elon's bid, but who knows, right? I mean, it's a whole new world for Tesla to in terms of them. But it'll be interesting to see as Tesla reveals its next quarter earnings. I believe maybe in January or February, how they actually do in the fourth quarter, and could this 3-month test trial of full self-driving convince them to do that? I mean, maybe it's to get more people to buy cars, or it could be get more people to actually onboard and try it out. Maybe there's a problem with the latter versus the former.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think if somebody was on the verge of buying a Tesla, this would be something that would push them over the edge, although probably they would do it anyway. But it's pretty cool what they're doing with it. It's fascinating stuff, like you said, at the forefront, and a lot of possible revenue streams there for Tesla as well, the more data that they get on this. So we got that with Tesla. Let's go on to something else. Another tech company, I guess, video game developer that I think at this point we're all well aware of some of the things going on with Cyberpunk 2077. Full disclosure, I actually got that game a couple of days ago. I meant to bring it down here to show on the air and I don't have it. But Cyberpunk 2077, I just got it installed. I do play on a PlayStation 4. I have not encountered issues yet, but I've only played it for like 15 minutes. So there we go. But CD Projekt Red, the parent company of Cyberpunk 2077, now in all kinds of news. The game issues, just to sum those up for anybody who didn't know, when it rolled out, huge issues on PlayStation, some issues on Xbox as well. PlayStation 4, rather. The newer generations didn't seem like they were having them. Newer meaning, they've been out for like a month if you can even get one. So PlayStation 4, huge issues to where PlayStation actually took it out of the store. Xbox took it out of the store. Physical games, you could even get refunds on it if you took them in. I think some you may even still be able to. Each kind of retailer have their own thing. But this is a game that's been anticipated for like a decade. I mean, it is a highly anticipated game. Would have been the biggest release of this year. I mean, maybe I guess you can still call it that. But now with all of these concerns, they're actually getting sued by some investors. They made a statement saying they're going to fight that lawsuit. My question here, I mean, depending on what happens, eventually I'm sure they'll have some updates for this, but it's such a conundrum. How do you think this is going to affect the gaming industry and other game makers for putting out their, huge A-list games?
I don't think this is going to have that big of an issue on just the game industry. I mean, this is certainly one of the biggest flops that you could possibly have. I mean, not necessarily a flop, but it's a big stumbling block for CD Projekt Red. And this is a game that had been heavily hyped, and it had been delayed 3 times. And once it was actually released, there was high expectation. It has Keanu Reeves starring in this, or playing one of the characters in this.
Yeah.
And when you bring Keanu Reeves out on stage at a press conference, to really hype up the game, I mean, there's got to be something said about that, about the anticipation for this. And then when you start to play it, and then there's a whole bunch of issues with the reviews, are saying, reviews were largely positive, but then you get all these bugs that were soon reported, and then there was the issue about the game causing seizures. And now the company's coming back and making changes to it, and now it's getting sued, and it's got taken away from the Sony and GameStop's asking for accepting refunds. I mean, this is not a good look for CD Projekt Red. But I think this is not going to really. I don't think it's going to really hinder other game titles from launching and doing well. I think it's something that the game publishers have to be aware of when they are starting to release stuff on these new platforms, so specifically the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S.
Yeah, and there's going to be a while before people can even get their hands on those consoles. Even if they want them, you can't, it's hard to get a hold of them. So I think people are going to be playing with these older generations for a while. And yeah, you bring Keanu out on stage at the height of the Keanu-essence and then have this flop. That is not a good look. Copyright Raimon Idong Keanu-essence. All right, final thing to bring up, and I honestly have questions for you. I want you to explain this to me, because it's something called Clubhouse. It's a social media app. It's exclusive not only to Apple users, but also it's invite only, and which is why we have our celebrity tech editor, Ken Yeung, here, who is a member of Clubhouse, to talk about this. Ken, explain Clubhouse to us.
So Clubhouse follows a line with in terms of the social network. I mean, you have video social networks that with live streaming, you have Periscope and YouTube Live and Twitch and everything like that, and you have your traditional social networks, that being it's Facebook and Twitter and the like, and MySpace. I'm still OG MySpace. I'm still betting on its return. I'll be able to use it on my BlackBerry. But now we're going into the audio only social network, that being with Clubhouse. Now Clubhouse launched. It's as you mentioned, it's invite only, and the point is that it's very much like a group. It's like a phone-based conference call, right? I mean, it's accessible only on iOS right now. It's a very small team. I believe they have about 7 people on staff. It was co-founded by Paul Davison, who was the founder of Highlight, which is a location-based social media app back probably a few years ago. And so the point of this is, it's very much, think of it like a clubhouse, literally a clubhouse, where you can create your own room, and you can have conversations with them. This has really sparked a lot of intrigue amongst those in Silicon Valley, and I use the Royal Silicon Valley, not specifically just a location. And it's growing by a lot of people. They haven't released any specific numbers yet, but this again is invite only. And the point, and you start to see people such as celebrities. You have I was in a room with Gayle King, Felicia Horowitz, the partner of Ben Horowitz, one of the general partner managing partners of Andreessen Horowitz, and a bunch of other. Terry Crews was in there as well. And the point is that they're flocking in there, and they're just having these conversations, right? This is audio based. There's no video. There's no real texting, and it's still in its infancy. But it's not to say that this audio based social network is problem free. I mean, there has been documented issues of harassment, of hate speech going on in these type of things, very similar to what you would encounter with other social networks. And there's there is pressure on the founders and the team to actually come up with ways to mitigate such issues from happening. I've actually been spending a little bit more time on Clubhouse using my iPad hack. I'm an Android smartphone user, but I have an iPad, and I've downloaded the app, and someone graciously gave me a invite code to try out Clubhouse. And so I've been using it at home, and I've been having some very interesting conversations, joining in on how to do content creation, get paid for podcasting, for example, talking about just COVID-19 issues and vaccinations and those type of things, and hearing from experts who are talking about the effects of the vaccines, what's happening with staying at home and those type of things. But I've also created my own room just with early over the weekend. I just created this room with no agenda and thinking, hey, who would join? And I was on there talking with people, for a whole range of people, for like 3 hours about just anything tech related, science related, what's on TV, and just catching up. And it's a pretty good experience overall. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, certainly there's a lot more things that they would have to do to improve, and I'm sure that Paul and his team are setting out to do that.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I hope they bring it to Android. I would definitely want to try something like that out just to see what it's like. It almost sounds kind of like it's a live podcast that you're a part of. Yeah, I don't know. That may be the wrong description, or just a Zoom call. It's just audio, but yeah, definitely interesting to follow along with what they're doing with that. So that's Clubhouse, and again, invite only if you want to join that, or if you want to find out more about it. But it's always fascinating to see what new things are coming out. Ken, I want to say thank you, number one, for being here. I want to remind everybody to go to Flipboard as well. Anything you want to tell people about, or where they can follow you? What is the best way to follow along with everything that Ken does?
Well, you can follow me on Flipboard at the Ken Yeung. You can follow me on Twitter at the Ken Yeung as well. Nice little reminder that Flipboard, very similar to what we've been talking about here, we do a annual year in review as well. So more beyond tech. I focus on technology and science. But for more information, just go on to Flipboard, look for year in review, and catch up on everything that happened this year. I know it's been a lot. We summarize everything for you.